According to most mock drafts, the quarterback talent in 2013 won't be confused with 1983 anytime soon. 30 years ago, John Elway, Jim Kelly, and Dan Marino were selected in the first round. This year, it's possible we could have the first draft since 1996 without a quarterback taken in the first round. Coming to us remotely, our USC insider John Jackson, who watched Matt Barkley play for 4 years, and our NC State insider Tony Haynes, who watched Mike Glennon lead the Wolfpack the last 2 seasons. Gents, if we can all agree Geno Smith is at the top of the quarterback class, the question is, who is number 2? Tony, let's start with you. Why should an NFL team select Glennon?
Well, Mike played in a system that's already produced a couple of pretty good quarterbacks. I think you guys have heard of them. Matt Ryan and Russell Wilson, they played against each other this year in the NFC Championship game. So this system is an NFL style of system. It prepares quarterbacks for the next level. Mike Glennon played in that same system and for the same coordinator, Dana Bible. Number 2, the fact that Mike Glennon is just a terrific thrower of the football. Mechanically, I don't know if there's a better passer in the draft. I broadcast games for Mike Glennon, Russell Wilson, and Phillip Rivers. I thought coming out of college, Mike Glennon was actually a better pure passer. And thirdly, for Mike Glennon, he put up great numbers in a 2-year period of time, and he did so without working with really great wide receivers. In fact, the wide receiver position was considered to be a weakness at NC State in Mike Glennon's 2 years, yet he threw for over 7,000 yards and 62 touchdowns.
You know, Tony, the one thing about these quarterbacks, they're similar in that aspect of the offense. They both ran pro-style offenses, so Matt Barkley, of course, well accustomed to that. The one thing I'd like about Matt Barkley the best is his accuracy. He threw for 63% this year, which is off the charts. And any NFL team in the NFL game these days, you have to be very accurate with the football. But the most important thing that I think that Matt Barkley brings to the table is he's a leader of a program. And as you see on every NFL team, the quarterback is that leader. Matt Barkley went through sanctions at USC. He's been a 4-year starter at USC. And quite frankly, he wins at USC. So that's why I think that Matt Barkley would be the choice.
Those are the strengths. What about the weaknesses, John? How would you defend critics who say Barkley is small, inconsistent under pressure, and his numbers are inflated due to his surrounding talent?
Well, you know, I mean, of course, let's start with the talent situation. That is definitely there, but that's going to be there in the NFL as well. There's still is the quarterback spot. You have to make plays, and quite frankly, every team that went against Matt Barkley this year was designed to try to stop the passing game. Unfortunately, the Trojans did have a running game to complement him, which made things a lot more difficult this year. And to go along with the size, Matt Barkley a little bit taller than most people expected. They thought he was going to be listed about 6'1". He did come in at 6'2". And the arm strength situation is always going to be there, but he makes up with that with experience and accuracy and anticipation, something that he showed throughout his career and also throughout the combine and all the tests that he's gone through since the end of the season.
All right, Tony, your chance to respond to Glennon's critics. What would you say to charge as he lacks foot speed, needs to be more accurate, and needs to improve reading defenses?
Yeah, no, Mike's unusual. His build is unique. John was talking about Matt Barkley's lack of size. I don't know, Mike Glennon might be too tall. He's 6'7". He's tall. He's gangly. He doesn't have a lot of foot speed. He lacks mobility in the pocket. Thus, his ability to escape good pass rushes will certainly be in question. Now, that size does help him see over the defensive line. It helps him read coverages and do a pretty good job in that area. But I would say that Mike is very tough, and he showed it this year against Florida State. NC State was down 16-0. He continued to take shots in the mouth all night from Florida State's great defensive ends, Carradine and Werner, and he kept getting up and he kept completing passes, and he brought his team back from a 16-0 deficit. But yeah, Mike's lack of mobility will be something that I think concerns the NFL coaches and general manager.
John, quickly, if you're an NFL GM, where would you take Matt Barkley? What round?
Well, I think that he goes at the end of the first round. I think he'd be the ideal. Most teams at the end of the first round are good, established teams that have quarterbacks. He's a great fit to be behind one of the experienced quarterbacks and take over the helm in a couple of years.
Tony, how about Mike Glennon?
I'll take Mike Glennon in the first round simply because I think his transition into the NFL game will be a lot easier as it was for Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan. I don't think that Mike Glennon will be overwhelmed by any of the concepts he sees once he gets to training camp, and that way he can make the mental transition and let his physical talents of throwing the football speak for themselves.
All right, John and Tony, thanks very much for your time and the insight. For more on the NFL Draft from the guys who followed their collegiate careers, keep it here on CampusInsiders.com.